Hey guys, hope everyone is well. We are going to look at some of my favorite gold foil tarot decks. Now there are many out there, but for me personally, I think these are great, very unique in their own way. It's not really a comparison, but more of a showcasing their foiling version of tarot. Quick disclosure, I've had these for a long time, so they would be custom edged from the original plain borders of all of the decks in this video. We have the Nefertari, Golden Universal, Golden Art Nouveau, black and gold with gold and black taureau. Starting off with the most premium of the bunch is the gold and black and gold editions. Massive kit sets showing off their respected theme. Both looks absolutely fantastic with massive one-piece solid protective box. In comparison to the others, it's the best overall. I feel it's very protective of your cards, the book. You're getting a full kit, and you could see here in comparison to the other lot, they're the most premium out of the bunch. Now with the other three, they are pretty old decks and comes with your standard one-piece box that's not really of best quality nor fully protective, but it's okay and tightly holds your cards, with each having a nice design. And we can see here, beginning with the Art Nouveau, where by the side you have this very nice sort of like design of the foiling, so it's not completely, not great or rubbish or cheap of the kind. It still makes an effort to kind of highlight the design overall, and which is quite fairly nice. And looking at the Nefertari one, it's pretty much the same. I think it's a lot better. I mean, they really go out there, showing the sort of like the foilings by the side. Underneath there's nothing there, so it's mostly the back, the sides and the front as well, where it's highlighting that. With the Golden Universal Tarot, again, quite similar. The way the decks would be, they've pretty much highlighting how the cards, what parts, areas of the cards will be covered in a gold foiling. Again, very identical between these three. Compared to the other two premium massive box. It's a kit where it's fully protective, plenty of details, real attention to everything there. Same here with the gold and black, pretty much identical, very protective of your cards. You get a massive book in there, and great quality overall. So if you really want full protection, this is the best way to go. With the other three, you could see here again, they're very similar in terms of what you get in the box. You get the cards themselves, quite tight fitting with the booklet as well. And like I said, I've had these for a long time and I've edged mine, and this is what they will look like out of the box. As you could see here, the booklets are very minimum. They're pretty much identical. Each comes with at least 5 languages, and they come with their own unique sort of like spread specifically for the cards. You don't have to stick by that. Of course, you can do your own, but there you could see how mix different languages. I guess they randomly pick the languages, but in terms of the introduction, it's pretty much identical. You get a 1-page worth, and when it comes down to the meanings as well, again, it's pretty much the same. Very minimal information, so you got to be sort of like accustomed to the Torah system and have quite a bit of knowledge. I don't think it's great for beginners, but still that shouldn't stop you from having a look at these decks. So this is what you pretty much get. Now compared to the two premium kits, you get full booklets of each, and it's nice to open the box as well. Now yeah, my one is not of great condition. I've had it for a while, but you get a massive booklet with plenty of information in each of them. And I love the overall sort of like design of the box. Very premium, again, like I said. Both of them showcasing their theme with the gold on top of the black and the black on top of the gold. They each come with their own sort of like ribbon, where it makes it easy to take the massive book out, which will reveal the deck underneath. Again, you can see here the deck is nicely protective. They've got their, again, different designs at the back based on the theme. So you've got the black highlighted more and the gold on one end. Again, with the thread, makes it easy to pull the cards out, and you could see here just the amount of padding and protection that it provides, which is great. Again, similar here, where it's easy to pull out the deck. And again, demonstration just to show you of so like the room that you have. Now there are a couple of differences between the two. One, you could see here the card thickness. The one here, the gold on top of the black, is a lot more thick versus the black and the gold edition. And inside of the booklet as well, it is different. Both have their table of contents in the various different respected languages. Again, 5 different languages. With the gold and black, you get about a page, 2-page worth of kind of like an introduction. The black and gold, you will get a lot more information. With the gold and black, it pretty much gives you, like I said, 2 pages worth of introduction, and then it just jumps into the meaning of each cards. And the meanings are broken up into at least 3 different sections, which you can see here. So here it is. 1 page and the remaining of that page of your introduction, and then it will pretty much just jump straight into the sort of like meanings of the cards, and it's broken into at least 3 different sections for everything. And that will pretty much be exactly the same when it comes to the suits and the court cards as well. In the black and gold version, you have a lot more of an introduction where it really talks quite a little bit about the history of tarot. It goes on to kind of like give you the basic, sort of like starting points of handling your cards, shuffling, drawing the cards, and so on. So if you wanted that a little bit more information, then I would recommend this version here. And what's also great is it will provide you a picture as well of each of the cards. However, the meanings is kind of fairly small. Again, not much on the reversal. So you, again, either way, you're going to need some kind of knowledge and working. And in terms of the suits, again, very small amount. It doesn't give you so much. But the bonus is in the version here, you get various different spreads that you can use. It gives you various different explanation. So I guess it's a good kit overall between the two to pick. And the back of each of these decks, at the same time here, you could see the thickness of it. So you have one end very thick, and the remaining are pretty much almost identical in terms of the stock quality overall. So the design at the back of the gold and black edition, again, very standard, and you can see how it's kind of highlighting its theme colored. So with the gold and black is you've got gold that's pretty much sitting on a black background, and then over here you have the black that's sitting on top of a gold background. With the golden universal, you have this lovely sort of like floral design at the back of it. I mean, it looks very nice still, very, very nice. I mean, the edging that you see there, that's gold, that is done by me edging the card, so it's normally plain. Here at the black of the golden Nouveau, again, kind of a floral sort of design. And the one that I love the most is the Nefertari one, where it's absolutely amazing. I think this is the best background. It's all Egyptian hieroglyphs, and what I love is how you could see most of it is faded out, so it gives it that authentic sort of feeling at the back, which is awesome. Cards thickness, as you could see here, you've got the gold, black gold, pretty much in line. In terms of the stock quality, the Nefertari one is pretty good. Pretty good cards. They've lasted a very long time, so don't really have to worry. So I think it's not that bad. The Golden Art Nouveau, it's the thinnest out of the bunch, but still it's lasted over a year, so I think it's still pretty good. Here, the Golden Universal, I think it's the best one between the last two in terms of the quality. And then you have the black on gold. It's all foil, so I think it's pretty much better than the remaining. And I think the best here is the gold and black. It's solid, very, very hard, and you could see it here. I'm really pressing it in. It's a solid out of the bunch. I think it's the best. All of them have their own respected way of kind of like highlighting their golden foil design. It's very beautiful overall. And You've got here the black sitting on top of the gold foiling. It's the one that highlights more of the goldness, the foiling of it. Here underneath you, the two, you could see where they've got the card name, and then it's full borderless image, but just interact is sort of like inverted sort of imagery. When it comes to the golden toro and the rest, you've kind of like got numbers being highlighted on top and kind of like the word in name underneath on one end, and the others are kind of like, again, numbers. The other threes here, you could see they're kind of like the imagery is within bordered. Here, Golden Art Nouveau is quite blown up, and various parts of it will have the highlighted gold foil. Your Universal has a lot more, the background, and Nefertari here, it's always kind of like a squared bordered image with the gold foiling right in the middle. Now, you probably noticed the Nefertari one is completely different. It kind of like does its own thing. The Egyptian theme versus the other three, where it's following the same Rider-Waite theme. Again, imagery is a lot more blown up on some, and the others, it's in a border or inverted different colors. So I'm not going to really show you everything. I will do a separate video of each of these cards coming up this weekend. So here I'll just kind of give you an overview of what each of these cards look like in their own respective theme, what part of the gold foiling sticks out the most. And I think they all pretty much do an absolutely great job in highlighting their respected foiling. You can't go wrong with either one of them, to be quite fairly honest. The Egyptian one is quite unique. I like that one. It's different. The others here, you could see they keep the standard Rider-Waite imagery, symbolism. It's just inverted colors between the golds here. One, the gold is sitting on top of the black background, and next one here you see the blacks are sitting on top of the gold. Golden Universal will highlight certain section of its cards to make, mostly it will be like the instruments or the particular suits will be highlighted in the gold, as opposed to here you have the full imagery and they've decided background will be black, background will be gold foiling, and it's still very nice. I think this one here is a lot more shiny amongst all of them, because you really have that full gold background. And here the Golden Universal, it picks certain section of the background. It's got this kind of funny kind of pattern to it, the Universal. Always in the background you have these little dots, and what I like as well is the tools, like you could see here, are gold foiled, so a lot of the tools will be kind of golden, which is quite nice. Even the numbers as well. In the Golden Art Nouveau, again, I've done a separate video on that. You could have an in-depth look of it. It's pretty nice. The imagery is mostly blown up, and then certain section at the back will have the gold foiling. Here in the Nefertari, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I love the authentic feeling of it, the foiling as well. Even when you move the card, it slightly tends to kind of give you the illusion of movement of the gold, which is very nice. And you could see here I've tried to like let a little bit of sunlight hit some of these cards at a certain angle, so it gives you kind of a good idea of how each of them look. I think the first two highlights a lot more gold along with the Nefertari, because with the Nefertari you're always going to get it's like a standard gold foiling just at the background. In the bordered, the image is sitting on top of it in the middle. The other two, it's inverted between the sort of like the theme of it, where it's a kind of darker version versus a more littered up version. The Golden Universal and the Art Nouveau, again, they pick particular parts of the imagery to put in the gold foiling, which works, but I don't think it's primarily the best. If you're after just full-on gold, then I think the first two is the way to go. From there on, maybe Nefertari, but then it depends on whether you like the Egyptian theme or not. Now, what I'm going to do is give you a very close-up of each of the cards. So first off here, we're looking at the High Priestess, and this is the gold sitting on top of a black background. You can see how detailed it is. Very, very nice detail. I mean, everything is kept as standard. It's a borderless image. It's very, very nice, high quality. I think the only negatives I will have is these cards tend to attract a lot of dust on them. But overall, they looks very, very, very nice. So that was the High Priestess of the Gold sitting on a black background. And here we have the black sitting on top of a gold background. And you could see how inverted it is. Again, it's very shiny, but yet still imagery is quite fairly clear. Everything is pretty much intact in terms of the traditional imagery. It's just various different aspect of it has been highlighted versus the other one. I don't think the imagery is as clear. Again, it depends on the various different cards. But here, it's still very nice. A lot more shinier than the first one. So let's move on and have a look at the Golden Universal. The Golden Universal, again, it's got this kind of weird sort of pattern always at the background, but again, it will highlight certain key parts of the cards. The numbering will also be gold foiling. Again, you can see the cross right there, and then certain section of the moon there, and then parts of the background you can see there will have that gold foil. The remaining of the image is pretty much just kept as it is. It's, you know, it's not bad. I don't know, it's a weird one. It some works for me, others it doesn't work. And we have the golden Art Nouveau. Again, it's awesome. The main imagery is all blown up. Everything is standard and traditionally kept as it is, but some can be disappointed, like here in our High Priestess. They've only selected a small portion of the deck just by the side there. I think they could have done a better job. I love it. It's one of my favorite cards, but I think sometimes it doesn't do enough in most of the imagery. Nefertari here, you're guaranteed to always have some gold foil sitting right in the center of that imagery. You have the various different languages. Again, it's bordered. It's got its own Egyptian way of highlighting the High Priestess. Various different symbolisms going on there. It's still very nice. Very nice, unique design. So if you're into your Egyptian theme, then this is like without a doubt great. We're looking at our Magician. You could clearly see here how the black in the background, the design with the gold sitting on top in terms of the outline. Pretty clear. I like it. Black is a little shiny. It's not as shiny as the next card you'll see, where it really is sort of like gold in your face. Very reflective gold. And then you could see here where we've got the black sitting on top of the gold. Still very nice. Between the two, you know, all the time I think one is better than the other one, but then certain imagery does looks great on both sides. So they're both very good. Very flashy, very reflective. I've managed somehow not to really let it reflect. You can see here how it's fully sort of like it's foiled up completely. Golden Universal, again, the border, certain section of it will be highlighted. You've got the tools, the background, and you've got this funny pattern. In most of the cards, you will see that pattern throughout, the little dots everywhere. That's kind of sitting behind the gold foil. It works on some of the image and others it doesn't. It's a bit difficult to kind of show on camera the cards. You have to kind of put it at a certain angle where you can kind of capture that foiling. The Golden Art Nouveau, in this occasion, there's an absolute fantastic job, beautiful design. The whole background is gold. The imagery itself is blown up, which what I love. It's very sharp, it's very clear, looks like a mirror, with the image just sitting on top. Does a great job. Again, I've done a separate video for this one here, so you could have a look at each and every single one of the cards, and I will kind of do the same for these here as well. Nefertari, a magician, very nice. And again, I like it when you move it, it gives you that illusion of where the background of the gold foiling is kind of like moving and sort of like morphing. It's cool, very detailed, very high quality foil here. And then again, parts of it, the hologlyphs is kind of faded, giving it that authentic sort of feel and look. It's a pity it's not full bordered. And then around you got various different languages. English will primarily be on the left side here on top. You could see Saying of the Magician. So I'm going to do a quick flip through. Again, I'm not going to cover everything. This is just a sort of like showcasing each cards. And here we've got the black and gold Toro. Again, it's very, very flashy. Amongst all of the others, it's the most flashiest one, where it's really showing off the gold. Very, very nice. It can be a bit somewhat too much on certain occasion. Now, why I pretty much customized or edged my one is I was kind of disappointed, and this is for all of them. It's very disappointing to get these deck and you think, you know, they're going to be gilded, gold, or you know, the back of them is going to be sort of gold. And you know, that was the disappointing part, where it's only in front of the image, everything else by the side was just white plain bordered, and it just did not look great. And I had to get sort of like metallic sort of markers, permanent markers, just to add that little touch, and it kind of really makes it stand out. So I'm trying to show you all the possible angles without really having the light reflecting massively. You could see here, it's a very nice deck, very reflective here, just to give you an idea. Grab another one there. Goldest of them all, very, very reflective. And again, it feels fully foiled up amongst all of the others. We move to the gold sitting on the black. Again, certain image doesn't look great to me. It looks distorted, where others looks very clear and very nice. But the card thickness here, I think that's the strength here. But at the same time, it makes it somewhat difficult to shuffle, because it's so thick and quite heavy. It can be difficult, but durability of this deck, I mean, wow, it's very good. It's going to last you a very, very long time. Again, certain imagery looks very clear. It looks absolutely fantastic with the background. Others, it don't look so great. It looks kind of like messy, but it gives you a different type of energy. So, you know, I wasn't too sure about this one, but after using it for a while and getting used to the image, it's pretty good. It works out quite well. It's the positive of this one is it wouldn't be as reflective, so it's got that nice balance, which I will show in a little bit here coming up. Very nice and clear. Here, for example, it looks all messy, doesn't look that great. And then just to show you it by the side of how reflective it is, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I think this kind of tones it down. So this one is overall not too bad. I like it. The other one that's just fully gold, I think it's just too much gold on certain occasion. We move on to look at the golden universal. Again, this one is a difficult one. Sometimes it's hard to spot the foiling unless you really find that specific spot. But still, it's a fantastic deck. I think this one was the one where I really felt most disappointed, because at the moment it looks fantastic with the whole sort of, you could see the border at the very edge is gold. I had to do that. When it was planed, it kind of looked horrible, where you had the black kind of sticking out. It just didn't look right. So yeah, I had to fix that myself. And again, it's difficult to see, but if you put it like I'm doing here to just highlight to you in the back, where the gold foiling is, you could see how it's there in the background. You've got this kind of funny dotted pattern that I honestly don't like. But again, it's quite unique in itself. You could see it here slightly. It's not bad, but not the best. And then we have the Nefertari, which is absolutely awesome. I really like it. It's a difficult deck, this one. I mean, a lot of the imagery, it does take time to work with. There's various key aspects of the images that needs a lot of your attention. But overall, it's a fantastic deck, great quality. The authentic sort of touches to the deck looks absolutely great. Again, the way I've edged mine is I've edged it in sort of like multiple different way. I've done a bronze, a silver, gold. So you've got sort of like different sort of lining. You could see here looking on top where you've got at the very edge, it looks kind of like silver. Then you have like a bronze sort of like metallic sort of version attached to it. Here by the side, just highlighting how reflective it can be. Again, it's not so bad. Right there in the center, mostly the background will be the gold foil, and the imagery would kind of like be sort of like standard right in the center, with a portion of that image sort of like faded. So it looks nice overall. I really like it, always having that foiling at the back. They've done it quite fairly well. I'm not going to show so much of the Golden Art Nouveau. Again, I've got a separate video, but again here it does fantastic job on various different cards. It is quite fairly reflective, with the foiling at the back, and it's always kind of covered with this beautiful sort of floral sort of design. The imagery on top looks very sharp, very clear. Again, the only negative is there's certain parts where they've just put very minimum amount of foiling, which is not great, but that the overall imagery tends to kind of like makes up for it in that term. So that will be my only negative. And here you could see it's absolutely perfect. A majority of the portion of the image has that foiling with a beautiful sort of like design. Again, I've done a separate video. You can have a look at every single one of the cards in the Golden Art Nouveau. If there is an addition that I did not add, and that's the ethereal. It's very elegant, and the reason why I didn't include this is because, again, it doesn't have as much foiling compared to the others. It's quite subtle. It's mostly bordered, so the very edge of the bordered or outlines of the image will have the foil. But again, it's another one to consider. It looks very, very nice. It's very clean among all of the other cards, and very luxurious as well, but again quite subtle compared to the others, where I feel has a lot more sort of foiling. And just to show you here a few of the cards there, you could see where the outline, that kind of out the border of the images will be the only section that will have the gold foil, which looks very neat, very clean, and has that very beautiful luxurious sort of feel towards it. Again, one to consider, but I don't think it has as much foiling compared to the others. So there you go, guys. That was our gold foil Toro. Hope you've enjoyed. Look out for individual videos of each of these cards. Until then, take care.